Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 6 261 1 Grain, 2 Sprouts. 6th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Li Wei didn't need to worry about the preparations for his engagement banquet. He knew he only needed to make a brief appearance. So, he returned to his cave dwelling to cultivate and avoid unnecessary trouble. Inside the cave dwelling, he set up a set of formation flags before entering the blood mud space. He had won these flags in the martial mystic competition held earlier that year. Li Wei sat cross-legged on the blood mud, using his intent to peel away layers of blood mist. Tangu Si and the Fusong divine tree appeared on the other side of the space barrier, radiating brilliant light. Next, he took out a radiant flame pill and swallowed it. His body immediately glowed like a light bulb. Closing his eyes, he activated the Fusong divine tree meditation technique, simultaneously absorbing radiant flame power from both internal and external sources to strengthen the earth fire within his brow center spirit realm. To advance from the earth fire realm to the heavenly fire realm, one only needs to accumulate 1/3 of their spiritual light. 1/3 of Fang Qi's. But to reach the calamity fire realm, one must completely fill their spiritual realm, making it twice as difficult. Months had passed since Li Wei reached the great spiritual master realm, and he had been focused on improving his martial mystic path. His spiritual realm held less than 1/10 of its spiritual light capacity. This was already considered rapid progress. Even great spiritual masters who cultivated only mental power couldn't match his accumulation rate. A radiant flame pill cost 1,000 Yongquan coins. 60 pills would cost 60,000 Yongquan coins. Extremely expensive. But there was no other choice. Li Wei couldn't afford to cultivate slowly. He had to break through to the heavenly fire realm as quickly as possible to reach the Tangu Si. After reaching the great spiritual master level, his absorption rate of radiant flame pills increased severalfold. In just 2 hours, he had completely digested them, and the spiritual light in his spiritual realm visibly increased. Just like the accumulation of spiritual qi in martial mystic path cultivation, this was another long and arduous process. News of the engagement spread like wildfire through the city. The secret that Zhuoqiu Ting and Zhuoqiu Hong were the same person was naturally revealed along with it. Everyone understood that this was not merely a betrothal ceremony for the two young emperors, it was also a union between the Zhuoqiu clan and the Zhu Li tribe, carrying extraordinary significance. As night fell, the official residence's lanterns flickered to life one by one. Greetings, Lord Zhuang. Lord Zhuang. In the corridors, officials from the attendant hall retreated to the sides, bowing deeply in respect. Zhuang Yu, clutching the engagement invitation, strode forward with grim determination. Her teeth were clenched so tightly they felt on the verge of shattering, and her eyes were as cold as if she were ready to draw her sword and kill. Reaching the top of Zhang Ning's cultivation tower, she struggled to compose herself, unsure how to begin. Just as she was about to turn and leave, a melodious voice called out from within, "What's wrong?" Did the transcendent duel reach a conclusion? Creak. The wooden door in the formation simultaneously opened automatically. Zhuang Yu stood frozen in the doorway, unable to step inside. Tears welled in her eyes, and she didn't know how to speak. Zhang Ning had already changed out of her daytime robes and removed her hair ornaments. Now she wore the governor's official robe, her attire simple and unadorned. She sat with her eyes closed, meditating as she cultivated the 7th sea, which she had yet to fully master. In recent days, news of young heavenly prides breaking through to the Dao Seed realm had spread like wildfire through Chu Prefecture City. She felt a growing sense of urgency, unwilling to fall behind. Another transcendent of the imperial court has fallen. Zhang Ning's voice grew heavy. Just 4 days ago, news had arrived of another transcendent's demise. If another fell, the impact would be devastating. What she feared most was the loss of the Zhang clan's transcendent. Zhuang Yu shook her head vigorously, finally gathering her courage to say, her voice filled with resentment and grievance, "He still betrayed you. He's going to marry Zhuoqiu Hongting." Zhang Ning opened her eyes wide. "Let me see." She took the wedding invitation Zhuang Yu handed her. After studying it for a long time, she closed it and returned it. "I won't go. In 3 days, prepare a gift for me to send. Miss. Are you just going to endure this?" Zhuang Yu asked. Zhang Ning pondered for a moment, then stood up and pushed open the window, gazing out at the city lights that stretched as far as the eye could see. She let the cold night wind whip against her face. The Zhuoqiu clan must obtain the hidden dragon. Only through their marriage can they secure their position. Zhuang Yu protested, "But couldn't he have spared you this pain? He didn't even bother to tell you beforehand. Miss, you risked your life countless times to meet him, to help him, to save him. You endured the second palace master's interrogation to protect his secret, even though it caused a rift between you and your master. How could he not feel your devotion? Only Zhuang Yu knew that Zhang Ning treated Li Wei differently from anyone else. If I hear these words again after tonight, I will expel you from Phoenix Terrace and banish you from the Zhang clan, Zhang Ning said in the calmest tone. Zhuang Yu bit her lip, tears welling in her eyes as she nodded. Zhang Ning sighed. In the past, for the sake of the imperial court, I would have found a way to sabotage this matter, preventing the Zhuaoqiu clan from succeeding. But now, with the demon clan's relentless advance, humanity must unite to resist. We can no longer afford internal strife. In truth, the Zhuaoqiu clan's eagerness to arrange this marriage is a good sign. It suggests that humanity's transcendent power has withstood the demon clan's attacks, and the battle may soon end. You're terrible at hiding your feelings. Don't attend the engagement banquet. I'll send someone else in your place. Zhang Ning's gaze lifted slightly, toward the majestic mountain range dotted with starlight in the night sky. Who knows what he truly thinks? True love is rare in this world. Regret and imperfection are the norm. It's better for the clouds to dissipate into the vast, hazy distance, preventing thunder and storms from colliding. At noon, Qi Xiao sent people to search for Yang Qingxi's whereabouts. They quickly found a lead, so he immediately rushed to confirm it. Just as he stepped out, he encountered a servant from the Zhuaoqiu clan delivering a wedding invitation to the Qi manor. Curious, Qi Xiao stopped him. After inquiring, he was both shocked and delighted. What a joke. This is absurd. Quick, let me see. Has my only brother really cultivated the secret art of living off a woman? After reading the invitation, Qi Xiao burst into laughter, already planning how to drink at the wedding banquet in 3 days. Brother Wei has truly ascended to the heavens. At the very least, he'll become the husband of the Zhuaoqiu clan head. It's even possible he'll become the husband of the master of the Lingxiao realm. Qi Xiao returned the invitation to the servant, deciding to handle the matter of Yang Qingxi with even greater caution. He absolutely couldn't cause Brother Wei any romantic trouble at this crucial moment. He didn't take a carriage. Instead, he donned a nightwalker's garment and moved swiftly through the shadows. Arriving at the mansion the Qi clan's spies had identified, Qi Xiao memorized its location and surroundings. Just then, the back door opened, and Yang Qingxi, cloaked in a voluminous black robe with a hooded cowl, mysteriously climbed into a carriage. The driver was a young man of 15 or 16, dressed in plain hemp clothing. Nothing about him stood out. The only unusual thing was the driver himself. He was too young. Interesting. So late at night, and Miss Yang is dressed like this. She must be hiding something important. Having broken through to the Dao Seed realm, Qi Xiao's newfound confidence made him unafraid of Yang Qingxi. He silently followed the carriage. To his surprise, the carriage kept traveling out of the city, finally stopping in a remote town 200 miles from Chu Prefecture City. After a night of travel, dawn was breaking. Given her status, why would Yang Qingxi come to such a place? Qi Xiao's curiosity grew. Seeing early risers already stirring in the town, he began observing while following the carriage tracks. 1 grain of rice, 2 sprouts emerge, 3 leaves crawl in the wind. 4 crescent moons sway, 5 golden grains laugh. Ahead, a group of barefoot children approached in a procession, singing a nursery rhyme. Qi Xiao, still invisible, quickly stepped aside, watching them pass with a smile. In his mind, he carefully recalled the scene. He realized that nearly all the children were twins. They must be Ren Dao children, he mused. I wonder if they're slaves raised by a powerful family, or perhaps young recruits for a death squad. Qi Xiao suddenly remembered that the Sui sect was rumored to be involved in the Ren Dao trade. He suspected this might be one of their transshipment points. Soon, he reached the edge of the small town. A Taoist temple, half hidden among lush trees, came into view. Outside, numerous horse-drawn carriages were parked, arriving from all directions. Not a single driver was in sight. Suddenly, an unnatural silence fell over the world. The bustling town, just moments ago filled with pedestrians and children's songs, became eerily still. Qi Xiao sensed something amiss. Frowning, he prepared to retreat. Young Master Qi, since you've come to the Daozu temple, why not come inside for a visit? An ethereal voice called from the distant temple. This is bad. Qi Xiao's expression changed instantly. He turned and fled. The moment he turned, the sky suddenly darkened. It was as if the entire world had been overturned, plunging back into night. In the town he had just passed through, coffins lined the streets in front of every house, each door guarded by 2 identical figures. Some were 2 elders, sitting on the ground sharpening sickles, their eyes occasionally glancing at him as they emitted eerie cackles. Others were 2 youths in hemp clothing, carrying long swords on their backs. Still others were 2 stunning beauties. One sat on the eaves, dressed in revealing attire that exposed vast expanses of snow-white skin, giggling seductively. The other sat beneath the eaves, serene and elegant, plucking a zither with delicate fingers. Qi Xiao saw Yang Qingxi. She stood alone in the center of the street, shrouded in a black robe, only half her face visible. Qi Xiao was utterly horrified. He looked around at the dark sky, no longer able to tell if he had ever reached morning, no longer sure if he had followed her all night. His voice trembled as he whispered, the illusionary realm of impermanence. Which holy spiritual master is playing such a cruel joke on me? A joke. The woman perched on the eaves, her 2 snow-white legs dangling and swaying, laughed with 1,000 charms. Sixth divine maiden, you deal with the tale you brought. He's already in the Dao Seed realm, Yang Qingxi said calmly. Fine, I'll handle it for you. You owe me a favor. With a graceful movement, the sexy woman's exquisite body shimmered, her ornaments tinkling and radiating dazzling light. Qi Xiao activated his movement technique and turned to flee. But behind him loomed the even more eerie Taoist temple, filling him with dread. He tried to circle around it to the right, but a group of barefoot children blocked his path. The nursery rhyme began again, but to Qi Xiao, it sounded completely different, filling his heart with terror. 1 grain, 2 sprouts, I rise at 3rd watch to kill the master. Blood splatters, staining white silk, crows fill the sky at 5th watch. 6-foot grave, 7 steps of death. 8 lines of incantation hang in the sky. 9 severed heads dangle from the tassels, 10 generations of barrenness sprout from my seed. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 7 262 The Engagement Banquet. 7th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. On the 25th day of the first lunar month, the Dongshan East Mountain Academy in East City, the ancestral residence of the Xuaoqiu clan, was ablaze with light. As dusk fell and lanterns began to glow, the vast and majestic 9-courtyard ancient mansion, steeped in scholarly atmosphere, was adorned with festive decorations. Red silk banners hung high, creating an atmosphere of joyous celebration. In the courtyard, members of the Xuaoqiu clan's direct lineage, along with members of the Zhu Li tribe summoned by the Hidden Lord to bolster the event, gathered in their finest attire, chatting and laughing merrily. Tonight, the Hidden Lord's identity was Li Songgu, the clan head of the Kandli tribe. Despite the simplified arrangements, the banquet was lively and the ceremony elaborate, conducted with utmost formality. The Xuaoqiu clan, adhering to Confucian principles, placed great importance on etiquette. Li Songgu had prepared 81 chests of betrothal gifts, each bearing the emblem of one of the 9 great tribes. This grand display openly declared to the world that this engagement was a union between the Zhu Li tribe and the Xuaoqiu clan. The Snow Sword Tang Court sends 2 boxes of millennial snow marrow to offer congratulations. The Wanyan clan of Ying province presents a pair of Jiyu King golden bells. The Thundercloud sect sends a East Sea coral treasure tree. Lingxiao Palace presents a copy of the Great Compassion Mantra Sutra Dao technique. Representing the imperial court were not only young disciples like Zhe Shantong, but also 2 imperial palace masters over a century old. Li Wai wore a white brocade robe embroidered with a cloud-patterned qilin on his chest, layered with a matching thin gauze overcoat. Unlike his usual simple attire, he now exuded an air of noble elegance. Standing beside him, Yin'er Shixi and Yaoyan, both possessing pure immortal physiques and unparalleled beauty, were reduced to looking like mere handmaidens. They bustled about, yet showed no resentment. They understood this was merely a show. Brother Wai, this great compassion mantra sutra is one I specially selected for you, courtesy of Zhang Ning. Zhe Shantong, a graceful young man with a charming smile, stepped forward with a bow. A powerful field of energy surrounded him, his eyes deep and unfathomable. He had already achieved the Dao seed of breakthrough. The invisible aura he exuded felt as though he had ascended to a higher plane. In the martial mystic path, each realm was a world unto itself, a truth, not an exaggeration. When facing Qi Xiao, Li Wai had felt confident of his chances, believing the gap between their realms wasn't insurmountable. But facing the current Zhe Shantong, Li Wai felt an intense urgency. The words, advance or retreat, were deeply etched into his mind at that moment. Unaffected by the Dao Seed realm field surrounding Zhe Shantong, Li Wai maintained a calm demeanor. Don't cause trouble. Lord Zhang and I have already drawn a clear line. Aren't you afraid my fiancé will come looking for a fight if you keep spreading such nonsense and causing chaos? Zhe Shantong, recalling the ancient lamp on Xuaoqiu Hongting's brow, quickly suppressed his smile. Who dares cause trouble in Chu Prefecture City? Dao techniques aren't cheap, and this great compassion mantra sutra is absolutely priceless. When you have time, come to Lingxiao City with Li Jiao. I'll treat you. After seeing off the imperial court officials, Tang Wancho approached. Watching Zhe Shantong's retreating figure, she first offered congratulations before lowering her voice. Brother Wai, please don't go to Lingxiao City. No one escapes the Shoutian edict unscathed. Accompanying Tang Wancho was a young man of unparalleled beauty, possessing a pure immortal physique. Li Wai couldn't make out his features, only sensing an overwhelming beauty. A misty haze surrounded him, as if he were standing within his own self-created independent space-time. The young master showed no interest in interacting with the younger generation. He walked directly toward the hidden lord and Xuanhuan Ling, causing space to warp around him as he moved. The three men spoke in hushed tones, their conversation inaudible to outsiders. Li Wei sensed an extraordinary aura. Who is this? My elder sister, Tang Wanzhou, Tang Wanzhou replied. Her cultivation is terrifying, Li Wei remarked. Tang Wanzhou flashed a proud, smug smile. My sister is only a little over 30. Her cultivation is simply too high, she missed the cut. If she had participated in the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, the Snow Sword Tang Court would never have lost. Luansheng Linyu and the others wouldn't have stood a chance. Tang Wanzhou's innate talent ranked only below Luansheng Linyu, Zhe Shantong, and Xuanhuan Hongting. Her unwavering confidence in her sister's abilities suggested that Tang Wanzhou was indeed a formidable figure. Li Wei made a mental note of her name. The north wind doesn't know spring's late arrival, while snow blankets the 14 prefectures of the southern territory. Tang Wanzhou, the youngest peak on the Jiazi register, hasn't achieved immortal realm, yet she can match those who have. She's the first in 1,000 years to achieve such a feat, truly awe-inspiring. Little Li, let's join them for a celebratory drink. Shi Luyu, Shi Zhoujai, Shi Shi, Bai Shu, and other members of the Earth Wolf King's army approached together. Clang. With a crisp gong strike, the engagement ceremony officially began. Xuanhuan Hongting appeared, not in male attire or a Taoist robe, but for the first time in a stunning female ensemble before the crowd. She wore a crimson nikang, her long hair styled in a high bun adorned with a golden hairpin inlaid with gemstones. Her slender waist curved gracefully, her floor-sweeping skirt trailing behind her like lotus petals with each step. Though veiled, her peerless beauty remained subtly visible, eyebrows like distant mountains, eyes like autumn waters. Xuanhuan Hongting and Li Wei walked together toward the center of the courtyard under countless gazes. Gasps of awe erupted. Few had imagined that Xuanhuan Hongting possessed not only unparalleled cultivation talent but also a beauty that surpassed all others. How envious I am, Shi Luyu said, draining his cup in one gulp, that little Li, a mere commoner, has risen step by step to fame, and now he's marrying the peerless noble daughter of the Xuanhuan clan. It's more painful than if they'd killed me. Zhe Shantong sighed, Xuanhuan Hongting is even more stunning than she was that night. Her beauty remains unmatched. Lord Zhang had no chance at all. No wonder someone else became the Xuanhuan clan's son-in-law. The murmuring gradually subsided, leaving only the lingering strains of silk and bamboo music. Li Songgu and Xuanhuan Ling each held a length of red silk. One end of the silk was tied to Li Wei's wrist, the other to Xuanhuan Hongting's. At the officiant's loud command, the two sides exchanged tokens. Li Wei, of course, had prepared no token. But Li Ling stepped forward, carrying a tray prepared long ago by Li Songgu. Upon seeing the treasures on the tray, someone gasped, it's the Windfire Dragon Phoenix pendants. Split into the Wind Dragon pendant and the Fire Phoenix pendant, both first-grade 1,000-character artifacts. When combined, they become a third-grade 1,000-character artifact. Li Wei removed the Fire Phoenix pendant and presented it to Xuanhuan Hongting with both hands. Both knew this was merely a formality, and neither took it seriously. But under the watchful eyes of the crowd, they had to play their parts to the fullest. Xuanhuan Hongting's eyes were filled with tender affection as she accepted the pendant. With slender jade fingers, she then produced the token prepared by the Xuanhuan clan, two calligraphy scrolls personally written by the transcendent of the Confucian Dao lineage within the clan. One scroll she handed to Li Wei. The scrolls contained blessings, each character imbued with potent mental power energy. Wear this talisman, Xuanhuan Ling transmitted to Li Wei's ear, even if you encounter an immortal realm enemy, it will block a fatal blow. The ceremony is complete. The master of ceremonies announced loudly. Boom. Flames erupted into the sky, reigniting the festive atmosphere. Xuanhuan Hongting retreated, but Li Wei was held back as guests lined up to offer toasts. They drank the Xuanhuan clan's 1,000-year-old vintage wine. After downing dozens of cups, Li Wei, who had never touched alcohol before, felt a slight buzz. Shi Zhoujai and Shi rescued him, dragging him to the table of martial mystic cultivators from the Earth Wolf King's army. Still shaken, Li Wei clasped his hands in gratitude before turning to Shi. Where's old Qi? I haven't seen him. He's now a Dao Seed Realm overlord of the mortal realm, Shi replied, he even invited me to his Dao Seed banquet a few days ago. It's strange he's not here today, especially since it's your big day. Bai Shu chuckled, maybe he's already gone to Fu Prefecture. Li Wei didn't suspect Yang Qingxi. After all, with the Qi clan's influence in Chu Prefecture City, they could easily send a subordinate to handle such a simple matter as finding someone. Li Wei hadn't expected Qi Xiao to personally visit Fu Prefecture. With his engagement to Xuanhuan Hongting imminent, Qi Xiao was worried that news of the underground discovery might leak and harm him. Li Wei recalled Qi Xiao's manic excitement when he first learned about the underground secrets of Fu Prefecture a few days earlier. He nodded slowly. That's entirely possible. He's the type who would risk everything for Immortal Realm. By the way, what's the situation in Fu Prefecture now? Shi Luyu chuckled. Fu Prefecture is Zhang clan territory. Why don't you ask Feather Immortal? They know more about what's underground there than anyone else. Because Zhang Ning could control 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors, and Li Wei had fought on all sides during the Xuanhuan festival with twin swords, gossips had linked them romantically, spreading countless true and false rumors. Shi Zhoujai said, we've received confirmation. There is indeed an underground entrance. However, the so-called Immortal Palace seems to have been opened tens of thousands of years ago and transformed into a maze-like ancient sect cultivation ancestral temple. So far, we've only explored the first 10 miles of the entrance, but we've already discovered numerous ancient structures built by cultivators. There are over 100 passages, including cave dwellings, sculptures, stone beasts, martial training grounds, and altars. Venturing deeper, we encounter terrifying dangers. Countless 5 Seas realm experts have perished, and even Dao Seed realm elders have fallen. Rumor has it that some have found ancient treasures and Dao technique stone tablets belonging to a great sect from tens of thousands of years ago. Others have unearthed millennial essence herbs, some with a 5,000-year age, a rarity in the world whose value is beyond calculation. Bai Shu was visibly moved, exclaiming, millennial essence herb is already incredibly rare. Aside from the medicinal fields of the ancient myriad sects, you can only find it in the nether realm of the dead and other perilous secret realms. Even the ancient myriad sects probably don't have any 5,000-year-old essence herbs, do they? Shi Luyu's interest was piqued, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Imagine a great sect building its headquarters within a wind mansion world as vast as a Fu prefecture. Then, due to some unknown calamity, the entire sect sank underground, buried for tens of thousands of years. Now that it's finally resurfaced, the treasures within must be unimaginable. Li Wei asked, do we know which great sect it was? Shi Zhoujai said, it's hard to say. That happened tens of thousands of years ago, and countless rulers have come and gone on this land since then. We can only wait for more exploration reports to arrive and compare them with ancient texts to draw conclusions. It must be related to a great sect that produced ancient immortals. Boom. Outside the ancestral residence, lightning erupted, shaking the ground. More than a dozen gold lacquered boxes containing congratulatory gifts exploded, releasing a surge of energy, thunder law profound ice. The sudden chaos startled the martial mystic cultivators gathered in the courtyard. They immediately activated their movement techniques and rushed toward the gate. Who dares to cause trouble at the Xuanhuan ancestral residence? Shi Zhoujai and Shi Luyu had just risen to investigate when a dangerous force, so chilling it numbed their entire bodies, erupted a few dozen feet to their right. A black-clad figure, previously invisible, materialized in midair, flashed forward, and slashed a sword toward Li Wei's head. Killing intent filled the courtyard, and the figure's aura was terrifyingly powerful. Boom. Shi Zhoujai and Shi Luyu, both powerful enough to be listed in the Jiazi register, unleashed their Dao heart manifestations. The sound of wolves howling within them pierced through the assassin's intense suppression as they struck out with their palms. But it was too slow. The two men were frozen in midair, forced to watch helplessly as the war sword descended toward Li Wei's head. Their souls scattered in terror, their pupils contracting as they realized the assassin's cultivation was terrifying, possibly that of an immortal. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3. Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 8 263 Sudden Change. Li Wei is crippled. 8th of Volume 4. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Clatter. Li Wei was startled by the sudden assassination attempt and had no time to react. Fortunately, the transcendent tome slip he carried automatically activated, erupting with brilliant protective light. The black-clad assassin's killing blow, filled with murderous intent, failed to land and was instead repelled. Crack. The transcendent tome slip shattered, scattering into paper fragments. Assassination. Quick. Save him. Someone shouted out in alarm. Chaos erupted within the ancestral residence. Zuoqiu Ling roared, how dare you? You're courting death. Li Songgu charged out from another direction, his brow radiating lightning like lingguang that illuminated Chu Prefecture city like daylight. For the first time in public, he unleashed the terrifying power of a holy spiritual master. Until now, the world had believed him to be merely a great spiritual master. Clearly, the Kandli tribe clan head, who had concealed his true strength his entire life, was genuinely panicked. Facing the combined attack of an immortal realm giant and a holy spiritual master, the black-robed man's battle sword flew out from his hand, piercing Li Wei's human ancestor field below his navel and sending him flying. He was pinned to the ancestral residence's main hall. The sound of the ancestral field exploding echoed clearly throughout the courtyard, heard by everyone present. Amidst countless screams and roars, the black-robed man clasped his hands together, forming a finger seal to activate an evasion Dao technique. Whoosh! Space trembled, sending ripples outward. The black-robed man's form vanished into thin air. Space evasion technique. He can't have gotten far. After him. Zhuoqiu Ling, Tang Wanzhou, and several Imperial Guard experts, 6 or 7 figures in total, charged out of the ancestral residence. They quickly sensed spatial fluctuations in East City and raced toward the East City Gate. The city protecting formation couldn't fully activate in time. The black-robed man smashed through the gate, transforming into a meteor that pierced the sky. The 6 or 7 figures pursued him relentlessly. The sudden turn of events left many in a state of shock, only now beginning to react. Martial mystic cultivators from the Imperial Court and the Thundercloud sect charged into the ancestral residence's main hall, intent on verifying Li Weiyi's condition, whether he was dead or injured. Anyone who dares approach, I'll kill them. Li Songgu's fury blazed, his brow radiating like a scorching sun. He repelled the martial mystic cultivators from the Imperial Court and the Thundercloud sect, his expression fiercely distrustful of everyone. He yanked the war sword from Li Weiyi's abdomen, cradled him in his arms, and immediately charged out of the ancestral residence toward Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain. Zhuoqiu Hongting, hearing the commotion, rushed out. After listening to the servant's report, her face turned deathly pale. Ignoring all else, she immediately set off for Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain. Shi Luyu and Shi Zhoujai wore grim expressions, their faces etched with deep concern. Shi, thrown backward by the impact, struggled to his feet from the wreckage. Blood streamed from his 7 orifices as he wailed, "It's over. Brother Wei is finished." Shi Zhoujai patted his shoulder, his heart heavy as if weighed down by a stone. Kang Li, Li Ling, Yin'er Shi Si, Yaoyan, and other members of the Zhu Li tribe charged toward Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain, several of them with tears streaming down their faces. Naturally, there were those present who took malicious pleasure in the situation. They frowned, feigning distress, pierced through the body by a strike from a powerhouse of that caliber. Even if he survives, he's completely crippled. Just when he thought he'd reached the pinnacle of his life, joy turned to tragedy. Who dares speak such nonsense? It only pierced his ancestral field. He can repair it with spring liquid. A martial mystic cultivator from the Zhuoqiu clan retorted angrily. Someone sighed, spring apertures can be repaired, but his innate world is destroyed. He's lost his potential for growth. Even if the martial mystic Dao Emperor were to appear, he couldn't fully restore it. The ancestral field is crucial for seed Dao cultivation. Li Weiyi's martial mystic path journey will end at the 5 Seas realm. He could use the Wind Mansion for seed Dao cultivation, Tang Wanzhou suggested. Using the Wind Mansion means he'd have an inferior root Dao seed. The Dao seed realm would be the limit of his martial mystic path. Many people expressed regret, but secretly rejoiced and sneered. They had long predicted that Li Weiyi would meet such an end. History was filled with brilliant prodigies who had met untimely deaths. The Zhu Li tribe and the Zhuoqiu clan had been hastily preparing this engagement banquet, hoping to secure the hidden dragon before the transcendent returned. Now, the hidden dragon had become a useless dragon. Zhuoqiu Hongting, the young emperor with a promising future, was now betrothed to a cripple. Everyone eagerly awaited the ensuing scandal of the broken engagement. Zhe Shantong, escorted by imperial guards, immediately departed. Once in the carriage, Zhe Shantong still couldn't believe what had happened. He asked in a low voice, to strike during the engagement banquet. That's too conspicuous. It couldn't have been arranged by the imperial court, could it? He couldn't help but suspect. After all, the greatest beneficiaries of this assassination were the imperial court and the demon clan. The Zhuoqiu clan and the Zhu Li tribe would inevitably grow suspicious of each other. This was, after all, Chu Prefecture City, the provincial capital of Chu Prefecture. The Imperial Guard, a centenarian master, shook his head, absolutely not. No one would dare make such a major decision on their own. Then it must be the demon clan. Zhe Shantong paused, a glint of insight flashing in his eyes. Could this be a staged performance orchestrated by the Zhuoqiu clan and the Zhu Li tribe? The Imperial Guard shook his head. We witnessed the ancestral field explode with our own eyes. If the transcendent tome slip hadn't deflected the killing blow aimed at Li Weiyi's head, he wouldn't have even left ashes behind. Li Songgu was genuinely enraged, even revealing his hidden cultivation. Moreover, the expressions of the Earth Wolf King's army, the Zhu Li tribe members, and Li Weiyi himself were impossible to fake. Even if this heavens chosen with 100 meridians of pure gold miraculously survived, he's completely ruined. Zhe Shantong felt no joy at the downfall of such a formidable opponent. He sighed, this era has grown much darker. On the jade carriage pulled by 5 snow dragons, Tang Wanzhou asked, Sister, are we just letting the assassin escape? This is too strange. We're in Chu Prefecture City, the provincial capital. This person has cultivated space evasion technique to the 5th level, and his earth evasion technique is incredibly profound. Once he burrowed himself underground, there was simply no way to track him. With such escape skills, he could probably break into Lingxiao City, let alone Chu Prefecture City. Truly impressive. Tang Wanzhou had been deep in thought since boarding the carriage. Tang Wanzhou continued, doesn't this mean that Li Weiyi's ancestral field, his innate world, might actually be repairable? It's possible. But even if you mend a shattered pottery jar, can it ever truly compare to an intact one? Can it still be used to see Dao? The greatest wonder of the ancestral field lies in its potential for infinite expansion and growth. Can a shattered ancestral field still possess such growth potential? Tang Wanzhou immediately added, we shouldn't gloat over this or let the incident itself dictate our actions. Instead, we should consider how we can exploit the aftermath to benefit the Snow Sword Tang Court. Tang Wanzhou suggested, should we send people to spread rumors that the imperial court was behind this? A child's strategy. Tang Wanzhou scoffed, we don't need to spread rumors, someone will do it naturally, and it won't yield much benefit. Tang Wanzhou pondered, should we credit the Thundercloud sect for the assassination? After all, someone detonated the Thunder Law Profound Ice, diverting the experts and giving the black-robed figures their chance. That's a strategy worthy of a young man. Tang Wanzhou's eyes deepened, in the Eastern Territory, Dragon Sect is already a target. Only the Thundercloud sect remains the strongest. If we can use this as a pretext to attack, the Zuaoqiu clan and the Snow Sword Tang Court can join forces, advancing from north and south to strike at the Thundercloud sect. This would divide the Eastern Territory, yielding considerable gains. Tang Wanzhou smiled wryly, with such significant benefits, why is this considered merely a young man's strategy? Because the demon clan is currently our primary enemy, Tang Wanzhou replied, we cannot afford an internal conflict within the human race right now. Tang Wanzhou said, spreading rumors that the demon clan was behind the assassination seems unnecessary. It's highly likely they truly were responsible. Tang Wanzhou fell silent for a moment before saying, let's create a narrative that the Snow Sword Tang Court was behind it. Tang Wanzhou froze. Haven't you grasped the situation yet? Qilin Zhuang led all the transcendent cultivators, sweeping from the Southern Territory to the Western Territory, then to the Eastern Territory. All three territories are in ruins, suffering heavy losses, while only the Northern Territory remains unscathed. How will the Imperial Court and the people of the three territories view this? Tang Wanzhou continued, the Snow Sword Tang Court is already the strongest among all the righteous armies. This move is like roasting us over an open fire, making all of humanity suspicious, wary, and hostile toward us. The Snow Sword Tang Court must suffer some losses, but not real losses. We need to make the world understand that someone is framing us. This is just the beginning. For the foreseeable future, self-inflicted wounds will be a necessary tactic for the Snow Sword Tang Court. Just like today, who can say for sure that someone wasn't deliberately sabotaging us? It's easy to dominate the world with force. But when the situation changes, you must learn to conceal your power. Oh, right. Li Weiyi saved your life. Gratitude and repaying kindness are essential qualities for any true hero. Those who revel in others' misfortune will never achieve greatness. What are you doing sitting in my carriage? Hurry to Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain. Countless eyes are watching. Tang Wanzhou was forced out of the carriage. Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain. The first thing Li Weiyi asked when he woke up was, did Elder Qin escape? 3 days earlier, Elder Qin had repeatedly checked the location of his ancestral field. Li Weiyi had suspected something like this would happen, but he hadn't expected it to unfold during the engagement banquet. It was too dangerous. With so many experts gathered, if Elder Qin couldn't escape their combined pursuit, the consequences were unimaginable. The Hidden Lord, wearing a mask, replied, rest assured. The reason I invited Elder Qin out of seclusion was precisely because his ability to escape was unmatched in the hidden sect. Once he dives underground and uses his transcendent techniques, it will be difficult to capture him. My ancestral field. Ah. It hurts so much. Li Weiyi had heard the sound of his ancestral field shattering earlier and had been deeply worried that Elder Qin's attack had gone awry. If that had happened, it would have been disastrous. The Hidden Lord said, Elder Qin's mastery of space is profound. The sound of the explosion was caused by a trick he played on the sword. Remember, only you, I, Elder Qin, and the Zuaoqiu family's Confucian Dao ancestor know the truth. Zuaoqiu Ling should be able to guess, but don't worry about him. In short, the fewer people who know, the better. Li Weiyi was deeply moved. He couldn't help but wonder how close the Hidden Lord was to the Zuaoqiu family's Confucian Dao ancestor to be able to persuade him to participate in this charade. In his mind, he pictured Li Songgu's elegant demeanor and his deep love for studying ancient texts. I know you've long suspected my true identity. There's no harm in telling you now, that ancestor of the Zuaoqiu family's Confucian Dao is practically my half-teacher. You can trust him. The Hidden Lord walked up to Li Weiyi and pressed the sword into his hand, take this sword. You must play your part completely. A human ancestor field that's been crippled isn't truly crippled. It's only when your fighting spirit is extinguished and your state of mind collapses that you're truly finished. In a couple of days, find an opportunity to commit suicide. Li Wei grimaced through the pain, forcing a bitter smile. Does it have to be this tragic? I already feel miserable and in so much pain. There's no other way. I warned you not to participate in the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, but you wouldn't listen. Now that you want to conceal your true abilities and deceive the heavens, you'll naturally have to endure some suffering, the Hidden Lord replied. Li Wei nodded solemnly. This is perfect. I need several years to settle down and cultivate in seclusion. I'll restrain my sharpness and spend some time in the Valley of Waves. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3. Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 9 264 Farewell. 9th of Volume 4. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. The turmoil at the engagement banquet shook Chu Prefecture City like an earthquake, leaving the city on edge for days afterward. The top geniuses who had shown at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival all remained indoors, fearing a similar assassination attempt. Rumors flew everywhere, causing widespread panic. They say it was one of the Imperial Court's brocade-clad Divine Guard's top members, trying to provoke conflict between the Xuanhuan sect and the Zhu Li clan. This happened at the Xuanhuan ancestral residence, and the assassin escaped. What's the difference between this and Xuanhuan's death? The Xuanhuan sect might really be hiding something. But I heard it was the Snow Sword Tang Court. They've allied with the demon race, planning to divide Lingxiao into north and south. They originally intended to kill Xuanhuan Hongting too, but their plan failed. All of you are spreading rumors. The most reliable information is that the assassin was a top expert from the far western Ashlands faction, most likely either Shu Fodu or Yuan Yan. For days, the Xuanhuan sect's top experts had been ruthlessly purging the far western Ashlands faction hidden within the city, leaving a trail of severed heads in their wake. As a result, various factions suspected the demon race was behind the incident. After the upheaval, many major powers dispatched teams to Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain to visit Li Wei. Only a few young talents with close ties to the Xuanhuan sect managed to see him. After descending the mountain, these young talents shook their heads somberly. He survived, thanks to the personal intervention of the Xuanhuan family's Confucian Dao ancestor. But his ancestral field is completely destroyed. At best, he can only become an inferior Foundation Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivator in the future. One person lamented, he shone so brightly at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, surpassing an entire realm and rivaling the Long Dian. He even managed to hold his own against Luan Sheng Lin Yuan fighting alongside the severely injured Xuanhuan Hongting. One can only imagine how he would have dominated those young celestial emperors at the same level. To fall from such heights at the peak of his life. Can his heart bear the weight? No one could bear it. Someone who reached such heights must have an unparalleled passion for the martial mystic Dao, valuing it more than their own life. To be denied the pursuit of the martial mystic Dao is to lose one's very soul. The most terrifying thing in the world is the idle chatter of the masses. They can lift a man to the heavens when he's in his prime, and trample him to death when he's down on his luck. Yesterday, I heard young disciples of the Xuanhuan sect openly mocking and ridiculing Li Wei. They said he should have just died outright. Now, half dead like this, he's become a burden for the Xuanhuan sect. Breaking off the engagement would draw criticism, but keeping it would make him a drag on the young celestial emperor. On the fifth day, a talented young man who had visited Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain brought back news. Li Wei is no longer as cheerful as he was a few days ago. He seems to have overheard some idle gossip and has become withdrawn. A sword mark has appeared on his neck, stitched up but still visible despite the concealment. The Xuanhuan sect has already dealt with those young disciples, stripping them of their cultivation and sending them to guard the ancestral tomb. The harsher the punishment, the more likely it is that the rumors are true. Li Wei is finished. He's still too young, his heart not resilient enough. How could someone rise from nothing to prominence in just a year, like a sudden windfall, possibly have such a steadfast heart? It must have been some extraordinary stroke of luck a year ago. The amusing tale of the fallen genius gradually faded from public interest. After repeated retellings, the story lost its novelty, and the world was filled with too many other significant events. On the 8th day after the upheaval, an even more momentous announcement swept across the realm. The transcendent battle had concluded. Several human race transcendents had fallen, and the survivors were severely wounded, leaving the Lingxiao realm teetering on the brink of collapse. After consultations, the transcendents jointly issued an internal martial ban for all human race immortals. This decree prohibited immortals from major powers from engaging in internal conflict and encouraged them to unite against forces under the demon race's banner. The ban would remain in effect until the transcendents recovered from their injuries and emerged from seclusion. When Li Wei learned of the decree from the Hidden Lord, he couldn't help but wonder, will it hold? No, it won't, the Hidden Lord replied, but this decree will temper the conflicts between major powers, bringing them to a level everyone can tolerate. It's essentially a return to the unspoken rule that existed before the outbreak of war. Human affairs must be resolved by humans, and immortals should not interfere. Once immortals intervene, conflicts escalate endlessly, ultimately dragging all the already weakened transcendents into the fray. Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivators are called the overlords of the mortal realm because of an unspoken rule that has existed in the Lingxiao realm for 1,000 years. Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivators play a crucial role in the struggle for dominance in worldly affairs. Li Wei nodded. I imagine that if they had a choice, immortal realm martial mystic cultivators would prefer to avoid being entangled in such mundane matters, leaving them to the next generation. The pursuit of immortal realm is far more captivating than the pursuit of worldly gains. The Hidden Lord asked, do you know why the Transcendents haven't simply banned all conflicts among human martial mystic cultivators? 11 years of war have accumulated too much hatred. The fact that they've managed to guide everyone to unite against the demon race is already a compromise. A complete martial ban would only render the Transcendents' laws as laughable as waste paper, Li Wei replied. The Hidden Lord nodded slightly. With this decree issued, I must retreat into the shadows. The Zhu clan's publicly recognized top Dao Seed Realm expert is Yao Xingyu, Yin Shis's father. The true top Dao Seed Realm expert of the Zhu hidden sect is Yin Yi. The Hidden People Registry contains information on how to find him. Oh, right, the Calamity Crossing Temple Immortal Master is back. He was going to check on your injuries, but I used your recent suicide attempt as an excuse, saying you were too fragile to handle the shock. It worked. The founding ancestor of the Xuanhuan family's Confucian Dao will subtly criticize you to him. I imagine the Immortal Master will be deeply disappointed in you. The Immortal Master is also severely injured and won't focus on you. He should return to the Calamity Crossing Temple soon. Once he leaves, you can stop putting on this pathetic act. The suicide drama was staged solely to deter the Calamity Crossing Temple Immortal Master. Otherwise, if the Immortal Master had taken Li Wei to the Calamity Crossing Temple for treatment, there would have been no way to refuse. Hidden Lord said, due to lost or chaotic invitation cards and tickets from the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, we can no longer accurately tally them. The Immortal Master has decided to select the most talented and outstanding martial mystic cultivators from various major powers to bring back to the Calamity Crossing Temple for training. He will reshape their meridian veins, wind mansions, and ancestral fields to forge the strongest foundation. Currently, there are 10 spots. 9 have already been filled. Li Wei, Xuanhuan Hongting, Zhe Shantong, Kang Li, Tang Wanchou, Zhu Yibai, Lu Kangsheng, Zhang Ning, and Yin Zhu. According to the rules of the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, only martial mystic cultivators who collected all Dragon Bone tickets or Dragon Seed tickets from a single region, east, south, west, or north, were eligible for a special reward. In reality, no one had ever achieved this. Now that the Immortality Pill, Dragon Seed, and Dragon Bone were lost, the Calamity Crossing Temple could only compensate in this way. Li Wei said, give my spot to Yaoyin. With her talent, she's sure to catch the eye of the Calamity Crossing Temple Immortal Master. I'm afraid that won't be easy. The Zhu clan already has Kang Li and Yin Zhu inside. They're there legitimately, and no one can find fault with it, Hidden Lord said. Li Wei took out a stack of invitation cards and handed them over. Use these to negotiate. Clearly worried about delays, the Calamity Crossing Temple Immortal Master finalized the 10 spots and prepared to depart the very next day. Before leaving, Xuanhuan Hongting came to visit Li Wei to say goodbye. Thinking Li Wei was unaware of their upcoming journey to the Calamity Crossing Temple for cultivation, she tried to avoid upsetting him by concealing the truth. I'm going on a long journey, she said, it could last 3 years, or as little as 1. Rest well at Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain while I'm gone. I'll be back soon. Li Wei struggled to sit up in bed, his face pale. He forced a smile. To the Calamity Crossing Temple. Xuanhuan Hongting replied, yes. Don't be so cautious. I'm not that fragile. Going to the Calamity Crossing Temple to rebuild my foundation is a good idea. It'll make my future path steadier and take me further. Li Wei's eyes dimmed as he spoke, and he fell silent. Xuanhuan Hongting didn't know how to comfort him. Instead, she used her transformation technique to change into Li Wei's likeness, sitting beside him like a twin brother. She wrapped her arms around his neck and laughed, you young rascal, stop looking like the sky's about to fall. Have you forgotten you can still cultivate psychic power? You're an extraordinary insect tamer. When psychic power reaches its peak, it's no less powerful than the martial mystic Dao. Haha, that's right. I still have psychic power. Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm really fine. I'm not that fragile, Li Wei said. Hearing Li Wei emphasize, I'm not that fragile, Twice, Xuanhuan Hongding felt a pang of sadness for him. She forced a smile and said, I have good news for you. Great Beauty Zhang came to see me and said some rather strange things. She seemed to think I might look down on you and urged me to let you go soon. She said she'd take you to Fu Prefecture. How does that sound? Happy. It seems she really does have a soft spot for you. Li Wei was naturally pleased that Zhang Ning cared so much about him, but he sighed, she's just pitying me. Pity is fleeting, but true affection must withstand the test of time. You won't be the only one going to the Calamity Crossing Temple. You'll meet many extraordinary people there, and your heart will soar higher. I'm tired now. You can leave. Li Wei's sudden change in mood prompted him to abruptly dismiss her. Xuanhuan Hongding stepped out of the room and looked at Li Ling outside. She sighed, take care of him. Don't let him hear any more of those hateful words. Anyone who spreads rumors again, just cut out their tongues. That evening, the Calamity Crossing Temple Immortal Master led the 10 heavens chosen, selected from among the most promising youths, onto a strange bird that vanished into the sunset's colorful glow. With Li Ling's support, Li Wei walked out of the room to gaze at the distant horizon, where only a tiny bird-shaped speck of light remained. He thought to himself, Brother Xuanhuan, I truly had no choice. I'll apologize properly when you return. Yaoyan took Li Wei's place at the Calamity Crossing Temple. Since receiving the Zhu Li God's battle technique intent, the ice soul cold chi in her body had never flared up again. Therefore, Li Wei decided not to take her to meet Zhenhai Guanwu for the time being. Time flew by, and half a year passed. Thick fog rose over the Tanggu Sea. Zaihe drifted across the entire sea, radiating a brilliant light like 1,000 divine lamps. In the distance, the Fusang divine tree stood tall, its gnarled trunk reaching toward the heavens, its leaves resembling 10,000 moons suspended in the cosmos. A 30-meter-long jade boat floated on the surface of the sea. Li Wei sat at the bow, breathing deeply and drawing upon the power of the Fusang divine tree to refine the spiritual qi within his wind mansion. 2 months earlier, after completing the qi refinement of the 4th and 5th seas, he had begun cultivating the 6th sea, the wind mansion. The wind mansion was a living, innate world. When martial mystic cultivators first opened their wind mansions in the spring surge realm, many were only the size of a fist. After 2 months of cultivation, with the aid of the Tao Lotus, Li Wei's wind mansion had expanded to 10,000 cubic meters. The method of expansion was to continuously accumulate qi, inflating the wind mansion like a balloon. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Shuangsheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 10 265 Half a year later, the 6th sea. 10th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. After 2 months of refining, the newly acquired 10,000 units of spiritual qi had completely shed their incompatibility, allowing Li Wei to manipulate and transport them at will. Li Wei exhaled a radiant cloud of qi from his mouth, his eyes snapping open to reveal a smile. 5th level in the wind mansion, 6th level in the ancestral field, so that's what it meant. The wind mansion is truly profound. The world barrier can directly absorb spiritual qi from the heavens and earth, retaining its essence and discarding its impurities. The entire innate world is an acupoint. After repeated refining, absorption, and purification, the 5th level spiritual qi has finally been achieved. Looking around the ship, the increasingly dense white mist and boiling seawater indicated that the golden crow was about to emerge from the depths. Li Wei whistled, summoning Little Seven, who had been flying on the Zaihe flowers. Then, he stowed the jade boat and, along with Zhenhai Guanwu and Li Ling, returned to the blood mud space of Shaoyang Star through a spatial passage only 5 feet in diameter. Gurgle. Gurgle. Bubbles the size of water jars surfaced from the sea. The seawater turned a golden red hue, and amidst the dazzling divine flames, the golden crow broke through the surface. Over the past 6 months, with the aid of numerous radiant flame pills and the Fusang divine tree, Li Wei's mental power had broken through 2 realms, reaching the Calamity Fire realm. The spiritual light within his spiritual realm had also reached perfect cultivation. Such rapid progress came at a considerable cost. Just the purchase of radiant flame pills alone had consumed 100,000 Yongquan coins, a significant expense. Returning to the blood mud space and gazing at the 5 chests, now less than half full, Li Wei sighed deeply. He picked up a brush and ledger, sitting on the ground to calculate his expenses. The largest expense was the purchase of spring liquid. Cultivating the 6th sea wind mansion and the 7th sea ancestral field required refining spring liquid to nourish the barriers of his innate world, allowing them to expand continuously. Only then could he cultivate 5th level spiritual qi and 6th level spiritual qi. Spring liquid was the essence condensed from the acupoints of Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivators, with each drop worth 1,000 silver. During his cultivation in the 6th sea, he had consumed an average of 1 drop of spring liquid for every cubic foot of expansion. Li Wei had previously tasked Yan with purchasing spring liquid for him. He bought a total of 50,000 drops, with the hidden sect covering half the cost and Li Wei paying the other half, a total of 250,000 Xuanhuan coins. Li Wei knew he needed to stock up, especially since his 5th Qi Si already measured 8,000 cubes, several times larger than other martial mystic cultivators. As a divine hidden one, Li Wei could freely access the hidden sect's resources. However, requesting 50,000 drops at once nearly drove Yan to tears. He had to scour the market to gather enough. After all, Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivators rarely sell spring liquid unless they're desperate for money. A Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivator could only condense a few drops per day. Other 7th sea martial mystic cultivators typically consumed only a few hundred drops of spring liquid each month, which the Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivators within their clans could easily provide. Li Wei, however, had already used 10,000 drops in just 2 months. Li Wei closed the ledger with a sigh. Cultivating the 6th sea, 7th sea, and mental power, as well as nurturing the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors, it all costs money. Fortunately, the hidden sect covered half the expenses. Over the past 6 months, the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors had devoured the 2,000-year-old 7-star silverfire begonia Zhang Ning had given them, as well as the medicinal herbs Zhuoqiu Hongding had sent to repay her debt, which were equivalent to 10,000-year-old millennial essence herbs. They had also consumed a considerable amount of Zaihe. Now, they had grown from 7 inches to 8 inches, and then from 8 inches to 9 inches. Their cultivation and strength had skyrocketed, but their voracious appetites left Li Wei deeply concerned. Because the amount of millennial essence herbs required to grow each inch increased exponentially. Little Seven's current combat power rivaled that of martial mystic cultivators in the first level of the Dao Seed Realm, matching or even surpassing the strength of Kang Li, Long Dian, and others during the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival. If their intelligence developed further or they learned to summon insect swarms for assistance, their combat power would naturally increase even more. However, they wouldn't truly reach the Dao Seed Realm until they grew to a foot long. The Dao Seed Realm is divided into 9 levels, or heavens. The first level is Dao Seed. The second level is Quivering. The third level is Birth of the Dao. The leap from 9 inches to a foot was undoubtedly a major hurdle. Spirit Tablet Master had said that consuming millennial essence herbs, aged for over 3,000 years, would make it easier to overcome. Otherwise, one would have to wait several more years to accumulate enough power. With my current strength, plus Little Seven, who could stand against me at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival? Li Wei's physical body was now perfected, his Dao body formed. He was confident that if he faced Zhe Shantong or Luansheng Linyu again, and neither used their trump cards, he could easily defeat them. Even taking on 2 or 3 opponents at once wouldn't be impossible. Master Guan came out from the earth, his ashes and blood mud merging to form a blood mud golem radiating immense power. Still thinking about the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival? Let me calculate this for you. Each level of the Dao Seed Realm's 9th heaven represents a vast difference in power. Only inheritor-level geniuses can barely fight across a full realm. In other words, after an inheritor breaks through to the first level of the Dao Seed Realm, they can fight across a realm and defeat a second-level martial mystic cultivator. Zhe Shantong and Luansheng Linyu's innate talent allows them to fight across 2 realms after reaching the first level of the Dao Seed Realm, putting their combat strength on par with a third-level martial mystic cultivator. At your current strength, you'd need to use all your trump cards to stand a chance against a Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivator at the second level. It'll be easier once you reach the 7th sea. Half a year has passed. With the help of dragon seeds, their cultivation speed must be incredibly fast. They've definitely reached the second level, and they might even be close to entering the third level. Li Wei walked over, smiling. Master Guan, I haven't let success go to my head. I know it takes others a decade or 2 to walk the path I've been on for just over a year. I'm even more anxious than you are, but rushing won't help. The 5 Seas realm requires slow, steady accumulation. I heard that Kang Li, the youngest among them, spent a full 7 years honing his skills in the 5 Seas realm. I've been meaning to ask, what exactly are dragon seeds? Why do they allow Dao Seed realm martial mystic cultivators to advance so rapidly? Master Guan sat down on an empty crate and began to explain. First, I need to tell you what a Dao seed is. A Dao seed is incredibly profound, almost impossible to describe with words. It's like the Dao itself, you have a vague sense of what it is, but you can't quite grasp it. To condense our own Dao seed, we typically rely on battle intent as a bridge to connect with the Dao and forge our martial mystic path seed. All subsequent cultivation is based on this foundation. Li Wei asked, since battle intent arises from the profound laws of heaven and earth, could the Dao seed itself be a manifestation of those laws? Master Guan pondered for a moment, not quite at the level of heaven and earth Dharma. Cultivating a Dao seed is merely the initial step in comprehending the Dao. It's still a long way from the true laws of heaven and earth. I'll teach you the method of using battle intent to condense a Dao seed later. For now, let's discuss the dragon seed. The dragon seed is essentially the Dao comprehension of the ancient celestial emperor flying dragon, condensed into a Dao seed. When planted in the ancestral field, martial mystic cultivators can directly absorb and comprehend it. This method is several times, even tenfold, faster than cultivating one's own Dao seed through slow study of ancient texts and trial and error. Li Wei frowned. Wouldn't this approach have limitations? Master Guan replied, no. The Dragon Clan's cultivation method is one of the most profound Daos in existence, with a complete and well-established cultivation path in scripture. It's far more reliable than forging your own martial mystic path from scratch. The dragon seed itself is also one of the highest grade Dao seeds. Of course, while refining and absorbing the Dao insights of the flying dragon, they'll also study various law scriptures in the Dao seed realm to align with their battle intent, rather than completely abandoning it. Zhenhai Guanwu said, I have a different perspective. Li Wei and Master Guan turned to her. The Dragon Clan's cultivation method is indeed a path that can lead to the ultimate Dao, she said, but it's not necessarily without limitations. Master Guan asked, at what level of cultivation would these limitations become apparent? Don't forget, he's the one the master of the bronze warship has chosen, the master of the Dao ancestor Tai Chi fish, and a direct disciple of the Chan sect, Zhenhai Guanwu replied. Master Guan pondered for a long time before nodding. She's right. Wei, I believe the Chan sect's 12 dispersed hands are far from simple. Since your master has had you cultivate them since childhood, you should use these 12 battle intents to condense your own Dao seed. Li Wei protested, wouldn't that mean I'd have to slowly comprehend and explore them myself? Wouldn't I fall far behind in the Dao seed realm? Zhenhai Guanwu suggested, you could cultivate both simultaneously. Cultivate the dragon seed in the wind mansion. This would also deceive the world into thinking you've truly become an inferior root Dao seed realm martial mystic cultivator. Li Wei said, cultivating 2 Dao seeds. There's not enough time for that. My cultivation speed would slow down even more. No, you have time, and more of it than anyone else. Zhenhai Guanwu's gaze fell to the Dao ancestor Tai Chi fish on Li Wei's chest, specifically the pale cyan fish eye. The light red fish eye is the Shaoyang star, possessing extraordinary spatial power. Aren't you curious about what the other fish eye of the Dao ancestor Tai Chi fish is? Li Wei was filled with doubt. He held the Dao ancestor Tai Chi fish in his palm, examining it closely. Master said it's the Dao ancestor's brow bone. Could it also be a star? Zhenhai Guanwu replied, my cultivation hasn't fully recovered yet, so I can't give you a definitive answer. But I'm certain it's related to time. In the Tai Chi system, only time can complement and balance space. After you reached the Calamity Fire realm, I carefully observed you each time you entered and exited the blood mud space. That pale cyan fish eye showed signs of flickering. I suspect that once your mental power cultivation reaches the spiritual master level, it will reveal its temporal mysteries. Li Wei pondered deeply but struggled to grasp the mysteries of time. So, the most important thing for me to do right now is to cultivate my mental power and become a spiritual master. Spirit Tablet Master, how long will it take for my mental power to break through to the next major realm? The Spirit Tablet Master's voice echoed, you've only reached the Calamity Fire realm a month ago. Li Ling has been cultivating mental power since childhood, and even after all this time, she's still far from breaking through. Spiritual masters aren't easy to come by. Even in the Zhu Li Divine Hall, they're considered elder-level experts. Li Ling retorted. Li Wei said, I can buy resources to shorten my cultivation time. I've never heard of such resources. Even among the Zhu Li tribe, renowned throughout the Lingxiao realm for their mental power cultivation, spiritual masters under 60 are exceedingly rare. There's no shortcut, it's a chasm that must be crossed, Li Ling said. The Spirit Tablet Master replied, not entirely. Author's note, the 5 Seas realm was written too complexly, so I've simplified the Dao Seed realm to the 9th level. Also, there are some loose ends from these 2 chapters, like the 6 Desires Talisman, that I'll address later. My approach is to move quickly when necessary and delve deep when it's crucial. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.